bulk of people are one step above that, where they have been trained, whether or not they went to college or not. But in that, that is the danger zone, and that is 50, 60, 70% of the American workforce is in that middle area.
It's not if it'll become more efficient or if it'll become better to have a robot in place of a person, right? It's what happens when it becomes cheaper than people.
If your job is moving boxes in a warehouse and you've been there 20 years and you've done a great job, how in danger is your job within the next 5 years?
I think that's going to be the first thing to go as soon as they actually finalize the humanoid robot designs. Because humans are a very effective shape.
It's a great shape. We get a lot done with it.
Instead of conveyor belts that can only move things from here to here, they can move things everywhere with a human. Right.
Yeah.
That's been the only thing that's keeping us.
I keep an eye on that. I watch like Boston Dynamics and the Tesla robots, and they got these crazy ones coming out of Japan and China that I don't know if they really work or if somebody's back there, running.
There was recently a Chinese robot that just fell over in the middle of their big demonstration.
Yeah, he's out walking around all of a sudden.
But the thing about that is
to be worked out.
What they do to train those robots is every time they want it to do a desired task, they have basically motion capture data of that task, and they reward it if it gets closer to that point. So they run like 2,000 simulations at once of it doing that thing for like hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. And the best version moves forward to the next generation. Last one gets deleted. So eventually
that's going to get faster.
Yeah.
Right? We'll get to where they can do it in 10 seconds and learn a task rather than 10 hours.
Yeah. So they just run it trying to do that 100,000 times.
Yeah. Here's what Americans don't understand about this. And as Christians, we really should always be one or two steps ahead of what's happening next so that we're active and not reactionary. In other words, we don't wait for problems that affect our faith or churches to happen. We understand what's coming, if at all possible, because there will be national and political and economic changes that will affect us.
Absolutely.
And we have to prepare for those. So most people do ordinary jobs. I know that doesn't sound like shocking, but, I'm in those kind of educated hoity-toity theological circles with the Presbyterians where like everybody's got a degree and stuff. Most Americans are not that way. Most church goers are not that way. Most people have ordinary jobs that they work their entire adult productive life, and then they retire, right? So you've got lower level jobs that require no actual training, and that would be everybody who works in fast food restaurants. They're skilled in a way, because a great waiter can make a great living, right? But you don't have to go to Juilliard and you don't have to go to Oxford, right? Then the bulk of people are one step above that, where they have been trained, whether or not they went to college or not. They are insurance salesmen. They are computer operators. They run a forklift. They build houses. They do this, that, and the other thing. They've been journeymen and they've gone through training, or they have some upper high school or college training. But in that, that is the danger zone, and that is 50, 60, 70% of the American workforce is in that middle area. So like if you've worked in a warehouse the last 10 years, what are we going to do when we start seeing drastic reductions in available workforce for our normal, ordinary, everyday Americans who are Christians and churchgoers?
That's the question, really. It's not if it'll become more efficient or if it'll become better to have a robot in place of a person, right? It's what happens when it becomes cheaper than people. And then we have these vast amounts, like FedEx. How big of an employer is FedEx?
Huge.
It's massive, right? What do we do when it's like half the price as a human to just have it automated?
So here's the reason we don't there's two reasons to me. These big guys like Musk and who's the Chat GPT guy?
Sam
Altman. They have a different answer to this. obviously they have more perspective and understanding of it than I do. But I have a different perspective because I'm not them. I'm not a billionaire looking into this. I'm an ordinary person,
Yeah.
right? The reason that robots don't do things yet is twofold. Number one, they're not very good at some things. And number two, the robot is more expensive than labor. If you got a person that's making $30,000, $40,000 a year, and they get sick sometimes, and they complain sometimes, and they quit, and they sue you, and they break their foot climbing a mountain on the weekend. The robots never get tired. They never quit. They might not be as good, but they also cost $100,000,
Yeah,
right?
that's the issue.
So they keep pushing this price point down to $50,000. That's kind of the goal right now. But when they get down to costing about $10,000 and then a couple of $3,000 a year in maintenance, they're going to be cheaper than any employee. And people are not going to care anymore if the human employee is a little bit better or has a little bit more resource or a little bit more ability to adapt to changing circumstances, because they're going to get cheaper. And what's going to happen with these robots is within the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to be like $5,000 a piece. Because right now you have robots designing and building robots. And that's a cheap process. People, this entire team of engineers and scientists building a robot, that costs millions or billions of dollars, right? But once it's like, we went down to that car plant. What was it?
It was the Toyota factory in Mississippi.
We went down to the Toyota factory in Mississippi, and they showed us that like 50% of the work was being done by robots.
Yeah.
50%. And they showed us the huge robots and arms that were putting together these things. And I was like, well, how close are we to 100% of the work being able to be done by robots? And the managers there told me, oh, we could do that tomorrow. I'm like, well, why don't you do it? It would lower the price of this car down from about 25,000, because it wasn't their highest level car, it was their lowest level car, to like 5,000. And they said, well, when we built this plant 30 years ago, all of our agreements with the state of Mississippi and all these things were we would never stop having this many employees and we would never completely replace. But that was a 30-year agreement, and we've only got a couple of years left on it.
Yeah. It's inevitable that's going to become cheaper to use fully automated systems. Like right now at that plant, they have like a job, the entire purpose of that job, you just place the windshield on. It's on automated lift, automatically attaches to the lift. They just put it down, and then
it's almost like the people that were working there were kind of like obviously not necessary to the process. There were like 5 or 10 things that they still had to have a person do.
Like right now for Tesla factories, they have it about 70% automated for a couple of them at least. Right?
Yeah, with them, even the dipping and the painting and all of those things are already done by the machines.
Yeah.
Right? How close are we to an automated factory building an entire vehicle for human beings, 100% automated? When will that happen?
Sources say within the next 10 years, we're going to be able to do it. That's also around the estimate for artificial general intelligence, where it could completely outdo a human in any intellectual task.